Alright folks, we're back. We're in the same field I mowed last night. The same field, same contract. Yeah, we night mowed this last night with the Case 115C and the Bush Hog 3308. So yeah, it's still covered in grass. I'll get it blowed off here once the guys get back. They're still making that parts run for the Bush Hog zero turn mower. I lost the whole caster wheel. Apparently it's going down the road after they got done mowing their section, and the center part of the spindle of that caster wheel just fell off. And it was, I mean, a catastrophic failure. I'm just glad it was, you know, nobody got hurt or anything, but you know, yeah, the center part where it goes into the frame is sheared off, and you know, it just, you know, stuff like that happens. And you know, last night I was talking about the amount of parts and whatnot. Well, that's, you know, that's something else. You know, you got a large amount of parts you have to buy with what doing this. But you can see this is just one part of the field. This is just one part. But yeah, we're still waiting on parts, so the guys are making a part run right now. Once we get that fixed, and then we'll do a little trim with this along the roadside, get that cleaned up the way it needs to be before we head off from here. Can't leave. Got to get around all the poles and whatnot. But yeah, they had to do a little bit of cleanup before we head off, which, you know, it's kind of messed up my day so far because well, we can't leave. I mean, the field is mowed, but you got to trim it up, and you cannot mow doing what I'm doing with the machine this big alone. You have to have something smaller to accent it. So, you know, we got a crew of, I got two guys with me, and we'll get that one machine fixed, and then but yeah, you got to have smaller equipment accenting the big stuff, because you can't just go mow with this and trim with this. I mean, it's exhausting to try to make a machine this big do all the little piddly trim stuff that a zero turn mower is 50 times better at doing. But yeah, we banged this out last night, and got this taken care of. I mean, and you could see last night how heavy that the growth was, and just one pass with the 3308, this is what it's left. I mean, you know, you got some windrowing a little bit, but you know, I'm gonna mow this field here in about another 25-30 days, so we'll get it, like, you know, right there. We got to trim that up to zero. I mean, I could, you know, these poles here, trim up around. There's concrete right there, like an old foundation, you know, and they get in there with weed eaters and the zero turn. You know, like the zero turn, come in here, mow that up really nice, hit a weed whacker for, you know, 30 seconds, it's good to go. But you know, especially like right here, this stuff was as tall as the cab, and then this section of the field up here this was a really tall portion of the field, and over here we were getting into stuff that was as tall as the tractor. You know, I was literally just, you can see from last night, I was literally just pushing the overgrowth over to get it under the tractor to be able to mow it. But that after one pass, one pass, that is what's left, and that's a little bit of windrowing here. But this stuff here, it was actually taller than the cab in certain spots, but there was other parts as tall as the cab. And you know, for one pass, you know, if I was not mowing this again within the month, then I would definitely want to remow this. But for compared to what it was, this is okay, and it will be redone again here, you know, within the month. So this stuff right here, all the stocky stuff will come up. You know, we're probably, I don't know, a couple weeks off from a good frost, but you know, once we get that first frost on here, then you'll there's that. Actually, I think this is like some type of jail, or you know, it's got the county community corrections, the sheriff's vehicles and whatnot.
and you can see the jail facilities back there in the back. But you know, the sheriff. I went over and told him, like, hey, we come here at night mow. They don't care. I mean, it's the railroad field, so you know, it's a tractor mowing a field that's heavily overgrown. So it's like nothing weird. But you know, you see a lot of farmers out in the field right now trying to get the beans and the corn in, and you know, it's a very similar industry compared to what I'm doing. It just you know, a little bit different, but yeah, it's you know, the same concept. I mean, those guys are out you know, night operations all the time, and so you know, that's kind of what I had to do. You had to keep night mowing just to be able to stay on schedule. But you know, even night mowing, I'm sitting there with my thumb up my butt this morning, waiting on parts. That zero-turn mower's kind of screwed me over by about 3-4 hours today. I mean, the guys are getting the part, but it's still, you know, they had to chase down the part, and we gotta go buy the part, and then we gotta go put the part back on, then they still gotta trim. I mean, it's gonna be, you know, another 2-3 hours before we can get on the road, and I got, you know, 150 miles to go to the next field. And you're like, oh my God, you go that far? Yes, I do go that far. And that's minor. You know, some of my fields are 350 miles away, and that's why I have the big 5-ton truck to haul this beast around, because this thing has to be mobile. You have to go where the work's at, and you know, it's, you know, I live in Indianapolis, and you know, I have a lot of work in Indianapolis with the railroad, but like I said, I've taken over the entire region, and you know, you have to go where the work is. And as I was explaining last night, you know, it takes a lot of money to have a machine this big and to justify the expense. So you know, I just keep expanding contract-wise. You know, there's more and more stuff, but it works out because, you know, when you have the work in front of it to justify the machine and the expense, then the machine becomes profitable. If it's sitting around, I still have bills for it. Whether it's sitting around doing nothing, then it's just costing me money. But if it's actually producing, then and actually, you know, performing what it's intended for, that's when I really start making money. And you know, this thing does produce, and it produces quite well. But you know, it's just more stuff to go trim up for these poles here, and that's one of the reasons. You know, I got as close as I could with the poles with the bush hog, but it still needs trimmed and weed eating. So yeah, we as this machine produces, it does make a lot of money, but I also have a lot of money going out because this machine is so expensive. But you know, I did burn through. I did notice I did burn through a lot of fuel last night. I burned through about 3/4 tank of fuel. I refueled it before I started this field, so it's full tank. But this would be heavy overgrowth. Now the tractor had plenty of power, but when it's going through stuff that's really heavy like this, it does suck down some fuel. I mean, it's got a 32 gallon tank, 33 gallon tank on it, and I burned through a 3/4 tank of fuel, and it just, you know, it really, that's not that much for, you know, the amount of work that this thing did, you know. But you know, like a big Steiger or whatnot, those things can burn 25 gallons an hour, you know, pulling a heavy you know, ripper disc, or you know, whatever they use is really heavy. I've seen some of them burn all the way up to like 27, 28 gallons an hour, whereas, you know, something like this will burn in really heavy stuff like 3 gallons. So it's just you know, it does not burn that much fuel compared to the big tractor, the really big tractors. But it's still, you know, when you're buying fuel, it's expensive. But pardon me, it did burn some fuel, but we did get this mowed down pretty nice. It does look way better than it did. As you can see, like parts of this field, it's just not mowable. It's just not, you know, you can't mow that. You can't mow this over here. So that's why I said this is a 25 acre field, but it's really only like 20, maybe 18 that's actually mowable. There are section trees up there that you can't mow, obviously, and there's in this section of trees up here on the left, there's really big tall ones. There's a foundation of a building that used to be there. You're not going to mow that either. And other big, adult trees. But the main part that needs mowed, we got that knocked down real well. But yeah, just parts. Kind of see the aftermath of a night mow, but I'm kind of kicking myself in the tail now. I wish I would have went to bed sooner and got the guys up sooner so I could get out of here sooner, because I've literally been sitting here waiting for the guys to get back, chasing down this stupid part. And it's really cost me half a day. I could have gained 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep last night, and then used that time this morning while they were gone. Well, they're still gone. I think they found it, but yeah, it's just the aftermath and the time lost. It's frustrating because I have 3 other contracts I haven't hit today. I mean, none of them are this big, but today at least, thank God. But they're still good paying contracts. So one of them's for priority. It's one of the cities in Illinois are complaining that they have high grass and weeds on a railroad property, and we have to go mow it down immediately. So we got to go there right after we get loaded up. But that's about 150 miles away, so it's going to take a while to get there. And it's just time. But I want to show the aftermath of a night mow. And if this was a normal night mow, when everything was done, and then we could literally just load up in the morning and cut out, then that would have been a little bit more ideal. Wouldn't have the downtime we're having right now, but that's the nature of the beast, is getting parts. And I'm not show the damage that my own stupidity did from last night. Is we kind of got it jury rigged with a strap there. The stump hit right here, and it peeled back the skid plate from the bottom, peeled it all the way back to the back. I bent my steps a little bit. We got them bent back close to where they're supposed to be, just with a hammer. But again, the steps are kind of, I would say, disposable, but they're easily replaceable with these 2 bolts. I mean, they pop right off. You can put new steps on there, but I don't need new steps. I'll just bend them back to where they're really close. Only really I will be able to tell once we're done. But that fuel tank is hanging kind of about 1 inch low, and I bent the bracket right here. That's bent. Obviously, a skid plate's bent a little bit, but we'll take the skid plate off the bottom of the fuel tank, and then we'll heat that up and bend it back in place. But you can see, that it's just, let me scoot back a little bit. It's a big machine. I mean, it is a big machine, and that's why it's really hard to trim with. And then, between the length of it, even with the loader and the grapples, it's a long machine. But it's definitely a very large, expensive piece of equipment. And but you have to have stuff this big to do what I do. I've said this before, I do need another tractor, I know this. And then I do need a bigger bush hog. I mean, it's an 8-footer. It's an outstanding bush hog. Anybody thinking about getting a twin spindle, get this one. If your tractor can handle it, get this one. This one is a very, very nice bush hog. Now, the downside about this bush hog, it's heavy. This thing weighs a ton, because I put the heavy axle on it, and I got the hydraulic cylinder on the back to adjust the rear height, which does come in very handy. But if your tractor can handle this size of bush hog, get it. It still goes down the road quite easy. It only hangs over about 1 inch on each side of the trailer, so it's not bad. Very easy to lug around. You get about 20-25% more production out of it per hour than a 6-foot cutter, but and it mows beautifully. I mean, this was a little bit lighter material right here. It was a little thinner because obviously it's got shade, but it was still probably 2-3 feet tall. and it almost looks like I went over it with a zero-turn mower. And actually it does better than a zero-turn mower and heavier type growth. Anything over a foot, the bush hog has a better, prettier cut than a zero-turn mower. It does a great job. And then that stuff out there where it's still stocky and got little windrows in it, that stuff was just horrid. I had to crawl through that. Again, not because of the tractor, just I had to give time for the cutter to cut the material. And probably sharpen the blades when the guys get back, when they're fixing the zero. Get everything loaded up. Get this thing up on the trailer, and then we'll be punching out of here. But you know, after they do a little bit of trim. But yeah, we got a lot to do before we even go. But I did want to get a view of that's basically my mobile office. It's a very, very nice, comfortable machine to run. If you ever think about getting one of these, the Case 115C is a great tractor. You know, the U series, the next one up from this one, same size, everything's the same. It's just got a little bit more hydraulic capacity, same horsepower, same cat, everything. It's just got more bells and whistles on it, and but at the same time, you have an enormous amount more cost. You're paying for all this little you know, doodads that make things a little bit easier than this one, but this one is still exceptionally nice. It does a great job. Great job. No real complaints other than my own stupidity on the damn fuel tank. But again, it's nothing we can't fix. And Junior, he can fix damn near anything. But I want to show where I kinked that hydraulic line and be noisy. Yeah, but it's up in here. Oh, it's right there. I got a kink right there in that hydraulic line. And that's why I got to keep my RPMs up. So, you know, once here in the next week or two, we're gonna pull that line off. I'm probably not even gonna put a metal line back on there. I'm gonna put probably a flex hose hydraulic line, and then zip tie it up in there so where it won't get caught on anything. It's probably just a sapling or something I got in there and just kind of kinked it. It still works, no leaks. No real damage. Need to buy a hydraulic line. It's not the end of the world. But you know, a couple upgrades I need to do this thing. So I need to get the little hydraulic hose covers on all my hoses. I still need to do that. I'll probably do it at the end of the year. Not having any rubbing or abrasions or anything. Just I want to get them covered so it's not in the sun as much, because they won't crack and dry rot and start rusting and blow hydraulic hose. So expensive. The reason I have such good lighting on this, I added the light bar. The light bar, huge difference. I don't know if you could notice from last night, the photo difference from when I was looking forward to looking back. You know, it has field lights, you know, the two small lights up there, and you know, the headlights, usually the loader's in the way. But out back, you have the two field lights up there, and they work. They're fine. But I'd like a little bit more lighting, because I do a fair amount of night mowing on my big fields, just to stay on schedule. So I'll probably replace those two lights right there to LEDs. Yeah, I'll get those swapped out to LEDs, get a little bit more light back there, a little bit less draw on the alternators. But yeah, they're a great tractor. If you're thinking about these type things, you just gotta have the work in front of it. This is not a homeowner, you know, I bought 10 acres, hey, let's go buy a Case 115C. I don't recommend, unless you like being broke. Great tractor, great tractor, great bush hog. And these are the tires I was talking about. Just two of those is almost $3 grand, and about another $1,500 for these. And they're a good size tire. I mean, they're a decent size, you know, the tire. But you know, I have radial tires, and a lot of guys, I can put cheap bias ply tires on there, and they would probably make do. But I rode this tractor a lot, so it's on the road almost every day, and so I don't want bias ply tires. It really affect the ride quality. longevity. I've had this tractor for 2 years, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. And it's got wear bar indicator, oh, here, right here. Wear bar indicators, and they're like, it's still at 90%. And this thing gets eroded all the time. And when you put it on asphalt, that's the biggest wear on a tire. Besides, if you're pulling something, you got a lot of slippage. I don't really pull anything. I don't have any, I don't do any plowing or disking or any that type stuff. So I don't really encounter too much slippage. I'm always in grass, and then or on the road, and that's where the road or pulling something is where you get tire wear. But I do a fair amount of roading. Still very, very little tire wear. These Galaxy tires that came on it, no complaints about those. I did have one tiny little puncture in the front tire, the passenger side front tire. You know, 25 bucks. Took the tire shop, got a patch real quick, no big deal. That's the only real problem I've had with these tires. They wear great, good traction, ride quality's fine. This is on a, it's got rubber shock mounts on the cab. It's not a suspended cab. The U-Series, you can get a suspended cab where it'll take most of the bumps and jolts and everything out of the ride, and you can see, kind of see the mounts, you know, in there, and they're big rubber discs. They do help. But yeah, the U-Series is the next model up, the same size, but it's got more bells, whistles, doodads. This tractor did come with the rear 3-point controls. Obviously, I'm not going to touch PTO because the bush hog over here, but it does raise and lower back here, and you can engage the PTO, which I'm obviously not going to do. But that is handy for hooking this thing up, because you cannot move this thing at all when you take it off, so you have to move the tractor to it. You know, this being a deluxe tractor, obviously has the extendable 3-point arms, and then I had a hydraulic top link, but honestly this bush hog is so heavy, the one I had on there just wasn't up to the task. It would work, but I did wind up eventually bending the center piston slightly, just because this bush hog weighs a ton, literally 2,000 pounds. But yeah, I'll show an external view, aftermath of a night mow, and you kind of see the size of the field. You know, this is just one portion, and take around the other parts, and but it don't look bad compared to what it did look like. You know, it was up to, you know, 4 or 5 feet beforehand in parts. Horrible amount of burrs and stickers and all kinds of nasty things, but it's manageable now. And yeah, that's it. So I'll probably throw this one up here shortly. Ramble long enough, and then hopefully guys get back, get the repairs done that we need to the zero, and then we will truck on down the road to Illinois and get that mowed. I got 2 contracts in Illinois I got to do today. Not real big, but important, more money, and not a whole lot more fuel because I have to go out there anyways. And then hopefully we'll stop back on the west side of Indiana on the way back home, bang out at least one more contract, maybe this evening. I'm hoping, praying, because it's a high dollar contract and it's really not that big. But yeah, so that's the tractor. Grapples, and if you are looking at a heavy set of grapples, these are heavy. These are the Favor manufacturing AR 400 steel. I put these things through a lot of use. Almost no damage. I got a little tiny little nick right here, and right here is just from picking up rocks and concrete. But the actual tines and everything else, where it's actually the AR 400 steel, no damage at all. Lots of use, a lot of trees, a lot of logs, a lot of ground, digging under the grade. But yeah, that's extremely minor, no damage really, functional wise. But yep, big machine. Highly recommend if you're doing this something commercially, but it's got to make, like I said, it's got to make money. It's, you know, between everything else, you know, this thing's probably got to make, you know, to get really, between all the equipment I have, and I need more. Actually, I just bought another trailer, a military trailer. I had to go schedule to pick it up. The trailer I have is too light of duty, and it's like fitting 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. It's not long enough, and it's not heavy enough for this machine. This machine, fully loaded, the way it sits right now, is about 12,000 pounds. So 6 tons of steel right here. The trailer I have, I mean, it works, but it's time to upgrade. But like I said, it's more money. Always buying crap. And but once you get all that crap paid off and these things are still working, yeah, that's where you're gonna make your money. But you're gonna be in the hole for not just months or a year, not even 2 years. You're gonna be in the hole for years. Like I said, if you make $10, or if this thing costs 10 bucks, and that's not how much this costs, this is math easy. This thing costs $10, this literally has to make $20 before this thing makes you $1. And then you add in all the other stuff, the employees, fuel, whatnot, you're gonna have to make a tremendous amount of money. So if you're thinking about starting something like this, just be prepared. You need to have steady work in front of it, or else you will be in the poorhouse. You'll be living in your mobile cubicle, because this is as much as my house payment, and I have a big house. And it's actually about $300 more than my house payment. I have it set up where I pay, you know, 6 times a year. So in my, you know, I only pay half a year on this thing, but the 6 payments, each one of the 6 payments is one of my house payments. Just give you a scope of how expensive these things really are. But that's the tractor. This is the field that we cut during night mow. Kicking myself in the ass for night mowing now because I have broken parts. Normally it would be a good thing. We'd be rolled out first thing in the morning, but not today. So I'll hop off here, try to get some other office things I can do in my cubicle that I need to do today before they get back while they're fixing stuff. Then we'll get on down the road and get some more mowing in. I'm going to try to get more videos in as I mow, get some more stuff in. But yeah, that's basically the gist. I'm sitting there just rambling now. But yep, night mow, tractor, bush hog, and I'll go back at you guys later. All right, bye.